Meditation and Spiritual Life, Swami Yatiswarananda. Pre-existence and reincarnation of the soul in Western thought. Centuries ago, Plato declared individual souls are eternal, having existed before they came into bodies, which are like prisons. Self-knowledge alone can make the soul free. This knowledge is not a new thing, it is a recall, a remembrance of what has been forgotten. The pre existence and immortality of the soul was a fundamental doctrine not only of Plato but also of many other great thinkers of ancient days, such as the Orphics and the Pythagoreans. Plotinus, the founder of Neo Platonism, held that the human soul is part of the world soul. It turned towards matter and fell from the spiritual state. It must struggle to free itself from the bondage of matter. If it fails, it enters other bodies after death. It passes through a series of births and deaths until it is entirely freed of all material impurity. When purification is attained through various forms of discipline, the soul unites with the world soul and ultimately with Godhead. The Kabbalists tried to introduce the doctrine into Judaism. In the New Testament, also, we find unmistakable references of the doctrine of rebirth. During the vision of the transfiguration on the top of the mountain, the apostles saw the figures of Moses and Elias on either side of Jesus. Elias or Elijah was an ancient Jewish prophet. Referring to him, Jesus said that Elias is come already, and his disciples understood that he was referring to John the Baptist. Christ considered the Baptist a reincarnation of Elias. The Manichaeans and the Gnostic sects of the early Christian church believed in the pre-existence of the soul as much as in its existence after death. Origen, one of the greatest of the early Christian scholars, declared the human mind is influenced now by good, now by evil. The causes of this, I suspect to be more ancient than the corporeal birth. But this idea was certainly against the doctrine of Orthodox Christianity and was firmly suppressed by the Christian Church. In AD 543, the Council of Constantinople declared if anyone maintains the legendary pre-existence of souls and the monstrous idea of restitution which follows from it, let him be anathema. But in spite of the efforts of the organized church, the doctrine could not be suppressed completely. It continued to thrive in other countries and even in Christian lands in many mystical sects. During the Renaissance, the doctrine was upheld by the Italian monk and philosopher Giordano Bruno, who believed in divine immanence and in the immortality of the human soul. He was imprisoned, tortured, burnt at stake. He died, but he helped to free philosophy from the bondage of theology. Such was its power, however, that the doctrine of reincarnation could at best only driven underground. It continued to influence the thoughts of many through the centuries, although people were afraid to speak of it openly. And With the end of the Inquisition, thinkers, poets, and philosophers began to express their ideas more freely. Thomas Huxley, 1825 to 98, the great follower of Darwin, believed in the theory of reincarnation, and he was bold enough to state every sentient being is reaping as it has sown, if not in this life, then in one or other of the infinite series of antecedent existences of which it is the latest term. To him, a scientist, nothing could happen without a cause. He further states, like the doctrine of evolution itself, that of transmigration has its roots in the world of reality. Emerson, 1803 to 1882, and some of his New England contemporaries thought along the same lines. Emerson was influenced by the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, and he was brave enough to say, there are stairs below us which we have ascended, there are stairs above us, many a one which continue upward out of sight. Poets live closer to the spirit and in their own inimitable ways give expression to what they believe to be the truth. Thus, Wordsworth says, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar. Tennyson speaks of lower lives through which the soul has come without remembrance. If through lower lives I come, I might forget my weaker lot, for is not our first year forgot? Walt Whitman, in his brave way, gave expression to the same thought, though we do not know from whom he got these ideas. As to you, life, I reckon you are the leavings of many deaths. No doubt I have died myself 10,000 times before. A strange idea, but one shared by many. A growing number of people are finding the idea of reincarnation very logical. The German dramatist and critic Lessing asked, why should I not come back as often as I am capable of acquiring fresh knowledge, fresh experience? And Fichte, the 19th century German philosopher, said, it is a well known argument that that which has a beginning in time must perish in time. Hence, the post mortem existence of the soul necessarily implies its pre existence. During my 17 years of stay in the West, I got the impression that a large number of people have faith in reincarnation. And if many have not openly avowed it, it is for fear of the church. A well known American preacher and author, Dr. Pratt, visited India in the early part of this century. Regarding the theory of reincarnation, he wrote, personally, I do not believe in transmigration, but I am open to conviction. And he writes further, I feel very strongly the nobility and beauty of the doctrine. There is an undeniable dignity in the Hindu conception of the soul, pursuing its long pilgrimage to dying bodies and decaying worlds until at last it reaches its home in the endless sea. And the Hindu does not believe he is entering into eternal life, he believes he is living the eternal life already.